Boards, games, board games, board games. I might be talking about board games, but I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this dreaming with a little bit of singing. And today I'm talking about a game about quickly matching words to pictures, but never words to words or pictures to pictures. This is going to be one of those lectures where I talk about how the game came to be. And a game about quickly matching words to pictures, but never words to words or pictures is a game you will see. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. 10 a.m. ish. Time for Busy Beats and Board Game Blether. And yeah, as I mentioned, I want to talk about one of the games that is on my latest Kickstarter. How did it come to be? What was made? Basically, the sparks, the tweaks, who it's for, why I'm proud of it, its intuition and acceleration. Actually, let me tweak that very quickly. There we go. And obviously, if you've not already checked it out, but you're somehow watching this show, then please do check out my latest Kickstarter, which is about to finish up in just a few hours. First of all, I'd like to talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, living life, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. So, what? Yeah, I didn't get up too much yesterday. Tried to take a day off. Spent most of the day doing lots of plucking and just listening to podcasts was the bulk of it. Had a quick chat. Sent some quick messages to Laura Wood. I'm hoping that we managed to get together our game in time for Dragon Meet. It would be really nice if we're able to work out something. So that is the bulk of it, and brilliant thing. What's a little thing which is brilliant? I'm going to say brilliant thing is co-designers, people to talk things through, people to, when you're feeling a bit down, it's not just that we're only working on this one project. It's also, okay, having some lovely messages. I get so much energy from working with Kirsten, and there's a sense of responsibility. Okay, I'm going to do this for this person, and there's an extra nice thing. So yeah, kind of working with other people, but then other people that check up on you, that's a truly brilliant thing. And I just think that sometimes it's good to cherish your co-workers. If you're working with someone, have you checked up on them? Like, are you, like, genuinely ask them, like, how are you? And don't just be like, oh, how are you? Fine. But like, no, genuinely, how are you? I want to know. Like, make, time. Take, like, ask them at a point where you are able to spend 10 minutes potentially listening if you really need to. But yeah, people have a lot going on, and sometimes just having a space to talk is a brilliant thing. As always, as I crack on with this, feel free to comment, ask questions, thumb, like, follow, and let me get the cards on the screen. A game about quickly matching words to pictures, but never words to words or pictures to pictures. So the way it works is you shuffle the deck, put it down. Oh, this is an old thing. This will be sorted out. Yeah, put the deck on the table, and if you split it, if there aren't any matches, split half a pile, and so you just split it into two sides, and eventually there will be a match. But remember, the word red does not match with the word red. Conversely, the word yellow, similarly, I should say, the word yellow does not match with the word yellow. But if you've got a picture, like say this yellow bed, this would match either with the word yellow or with the word bed. And this has basically been the game for quite a while, and it came to be at the start of 2020. It was when I was in Nuremberg, I was wandering around. So I'd been to Cannes the previous year, 2019, and Nuremberg 2020 was my first time. Hopefully not my last time going to Nuremberg. I mean, I've already arranged a plan, to go next year, and who knows what might happen. The world might shut down again, or something might incapacitate me. But I was chatting to a few people, and at Nuremberg, there were a couple of my games that some companies liked enough that they took them away. And I was thinking, okay, I need to get better at this. I need to make more quick games that people will enjoy, that something that's super simple that I could see more people getting into, something that could potentially sell, millions. And even though that's like a really high bar to aim for, it's kind of the case of me saying, well, not everything that I aim for is going to actually meet that target. But if I aim for that, then I'm going to end up with something super accessible, hopefully mass market, and something. Because at a certain point, I do have to think about, not just making these niche things like make a word search. I'm very proud of it. And people can go out and play that for free. You can go and play a nice word game that Rory Muldoon is a big advocate for. But it doesn't get me any money. So I need to, if I want to work full time as a game designer, I do need to be working on things that could be super accessible. And so I was thinking, okay, let me try and look at things analytically. There's a lot of speed games, right? And there's a lot of performative speed games. There's a lot of match this to match that. Okay, how can we go? Well, if you're saying you've got games where you match the symbol and you ignore the color, like Jungle Speed, okay, fair enough. And the reason that Jungle Speed is more popular than that description would suggest is because Jungle Speed has these gorgeous illustrations that are meant to be similar but not identical. That confuses you just a little bit. Okay, that's interesting. What else is there? What else could you do at speed? I mean, like matching things. How could we make a twist to this matching? You could have, what if you had to match words? Like, what if it was something to do with words and the words had to describe the pictures? Oh, that's interesting. I don't think that's been done before. And so that was basically the idea of the game. I made a deck. I felt like, okay, to make sure that there are more things that any word can match, you in you don't necessarily want more than any word should probably match at least 25% if you're going to have a decent likelihood of a match. And so you don't want to have more than 4 types of pictures, but then you can have pictures with a color and an object in them that sorts that issue out. So then this bed, it's yellow and it's a bed. Similarly, these are stars and they are red. Whereas this, and this came later, let me get to that later. And so early on, I think it was literally just 3 types of objects, 3 types of colors. And on the other side, I'd written down what was going on. I made a prototype. I thought, okay, this will work. And I've got a new method of splitting decks. When I was working on an L deck submission, I did a lot of development to it. It was something inspired by, I think it was not Jessica Hancock. Oh, now I'm having to look up. Very quickly check who submitted it. I think it was Jessica Eccles, there we go. So Jessica Eccles submitted something that was vaguely inspired by Anomia, and the idea being that you put cards on top of other cards, and then you build up a stack, and then once you remove things from the stack, there might be a cascade, there might be a bit of a, chain reaction almost. That was a lot of fun. But whilst developing it, I thought, well, let's make a whole bunch of changes, and it ended up being just one deck, and then you split it into two. Are there any matches? No, okay. Split it into two. Are there any matches? Okay. And then you keep going like that. That original game was, I think, when two of the borders matched, then you needed to shout a word that matched, that fits a category with one letter from each card in it. That was a totally separate game. But with this matching thing, I wanted to, again, make it as simple, as frantic as possible. I thought, yeah, that's a system that I came up with. I feel okay with using this system of having the cards and then splitting them and splitting them and splitting them. And so let's try it out. I tried it out at my Friday daytime playtest. This was back before it split up for the pandemic. And then I was like, hooray, it works. Take it to France, play it with a family that I'm staying with. Hooray, it definitely works. And then I showed it to a couple of publishers. They both liked it. I made a second prototype so that I could give both of them a copy to take away with themselves. And I was super excited to hear what would happen, but then there was a pandemic and nothing happened with it. So that brings me to the start of 2022, when I'd decided for some reason that I would make a new game for every convention. And I think it was, Norwich, Daicini in April, where I got these things printed. I drew up quickly some 4 objects: stars, cats, beds, and bicycles. I couldn't remember exactly how many things there were, but 4 seemed like a reasonable number. I mean, maybe, possibly, I might be better off going back to 3. I mean, was it 3 or was it actually always 4? That is one part of the story I can't quite remember. But that brings me to the probability of matches being there. But I'll get to that in a wee bit. So, made the game, put it out, double-sided cards. I thought I'd try that. Okay, on one side you've got the word, on the other side you've got the picture, and they're shuffling them and they go any which way, and when you split them you can flip them over. That was interesting, but it had 2 problems. So the problem with double-sided cards, because you can see here, like I moved back to a situation where one side, it's single-sided cards and there is a distinct back. This is the back that I'm highlighting here. So the issue with having double-sided cards is, firstly, once you reach the end of the game, let's say you've got 5 cards in the middle, and let's say none of them match. How do you know that? You've got to kind of keep looking at each of the cards and make sure that there's definitely no match. And then, so I put in a rule that once there's 5 cards or fewer, then that's the end of the game. But that can be unsatisfying, because what if you see, oh, well, I can flip over that, and now it matches. So with single-sided cards, you just get the cards at the end. When it's all single cards, well, that's the end. There's like 3, 5. Sometimes you end up with 1. Okay, that's the end of the game, fine. The other problem was kind of more subtle. So with words on one side and pictures on the other side, I don't really have any control over what's been taken out of the deck. It's, if I have 50 card sides and then boom, there you go, that means that if a blue is taken out, if the word blue, that means that there's also a blue thing taken out. And that means that the number of red things is constant. But with double-sided cards, if the word blue is taken out, then what should be on the other side of the word blue? Like, because having a yellow object being taken out, and then it means that it's more likely to end up with a greater number of things at the end that just don't match, which is, again, kind of sad. So I did two things to remedy this for the second edition. Firstly, I made them all single-sided. That seemed good. The second thing I did is I added, like I'd already done a tiny bit of this, but I added more cards which have multiple qualities. So you've got red and yellow and star here, okay? Red and blue and yellow and star. And a few cards with red and a yellow cat. So this can be matched to either a yellow, the word yellow, or the word cat, or a picture with something red on it. And just a few of those to try and make it go faster. And I think pictures like this are possibly better than the it's about having that excitement, it's about having that joy, it's about having that high probability that when you take off two cards, both of those cards might match something that was already on an existing card, where suddenly you've got stars or bike or yellow or red or blue. Any of these colors can match, and either of these two things. So basically, all out of the 7 possible words, because 4 objects and 3 colors, 5 out of them match this one, which is a lot. And here, like 4 out of, yeah, it's like all the objects. And I do think that, yeah, I'm excited to, with this, that's basically how it developed. Just trying to make sure that there's more flurry of activity and making sure that there's a few of these extra special cards where you might be like, oh, what's going on? Okay, I need to leave comments open. Comments are messing up for me again. I don't know if it's because I missed my clock. But yeah, that's all the story of the game. So I apologize to Elaine and Yoda. Thank you very much. Elaine, good morning. And Yoda, good morning. I am very sorry that I missed your chat. I think it might be because I'm messing with my alarm clock. So just so you know, yesterday I listened to someone and I tried to put my clock 2 hours forwards because it felt like a nice way to, yeah, trick my mind into going to bed earlier and getting up earlier. And indeed, the past couple of days I have been, yeah, I managed to get out of the house. But yeah, I think this might be a side effect. Maybe StreamYard expects me to be on a certain clock because it, yeah, that was either a coincidence or it was a cause. Elaine says, I think we underestimate the amount of people who care about us, so letting someone know you do care how they are is definitely a brilliant thing. Yes, 100%. It's like when you ask how someone is, like the natural reaction is to just say, oh, like a normal person might say, oh, I'm okay. I would probably say not terrible, which means I'm bad, but, you know, at least I'm not terrible. Or I might say I could be worse, which means I am very much terrible. But, you know, you can always be worse. I mean, yeah, depends how low you're. Yeah, you can imagine some pretty horrific situations. So, but yeah, but then if someone actually asks, well, why are you just okay? Would you like, if someone's asking me that on text, I'm not going to lie, it takes me a lot of effort to say that through text. So I think that can be an imposition. But if it's in person, like also not saying why or why are you that way, but just saying, would you like to talk? I've got time for you. I think that's it. Like kind of giving them an invitation, saying that you will listen. Elaine, thank you so much. The colouring outside of the lines was done to make it faster. And it was like, yep, I'm going to intentionally go for this style to make it faster to do. How did I end up doing the shapes? I think that originally it might, yeah, I can't remember if stars were originally part of it, but I wanted things that have really short names. So bed, cat, and bike. And so, that seemed good. Um, Also, they feel like I can draw them and make sure that they're, clearly what they are. I mean, if I had to draw headphones, headphones feel a bit fiddly. I don't know if I could draw headphones and have people recognize them in half a second because I don't know, like, yeah, I guess, I've done a decent work on the bed. I'm probably not giving myself enough credits. I probably could draw headphones. I mean, honestly, those three things, it could have been a lot of other stuff. I probably wouldn't have wanted to put giraffe because that's a longer word. I might have done lion. I think I wanted them to be common household objects people would recognize and the easiest thing I could draw. And also, I think I felt like I like drawing bicycles. Honestly, that's a big part of it. It's like bikes were a fun thing to draw. I like drawing cats, and yeah, beds. Oh, what else has 3 or 4 letters? Now I'm wondering why I didn't do lions. I guess lions are kind of similar to cats and dogs, and so probably I wouldn't want to have 2 animals. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. Anyway, and I'm going to keep the comments window open this time, so I hopefully don't miss anything. And I'm very sorry for missing your comments, and please forgive me. Anyway, so in the box, you have, because I don't need to have the back cover, and I'm glad it makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much for thanking me. I've decided to start having these little cards, which tells you a tiny bit about how the game came to be, and a tiny bit about me. And so the bit about me will have my email address and remind people to just search for Stuff by Bez wherever. And there'll be like a couple of paragraphs which are unique to each game. And so it's, yeah, trying to relate to the objects. I don't know if that makes sense. I could have said that Bez tries to be a star, but yeah, I didn't feel like that. So looking at the things, looking at the questions that I set myself, how was it made? I think I've answered that. The first original prototypes were hand-drawn, and this was done with my drawing 4 images, and then the images I used a bright light overhead, just having the desk lamp on, paper on top of paper, scribble the blue in, take that off, paper on top of the paper, scribble the yellow in. And so then I got Chris to composite it all. So all the digital stuff here is done by Chris. The typography for the records was all drawn by me. Yeah, what changed? I think I've gone into that. Yep. Who would enjoy it? I think that if you enjoy it, like I've been thinking about real-time games a lot, and I've been thinking about how essentially a lot of real-time games, including this one, are zero decision games. There's no, do I functionally, like, do I do this or do I do that? But there is some, let's say, styling in the performance. There's like some small technique. It's not as nuanced as dancing, but like if you're a follower in dancing, if like someone does that, that means that you do, like in salsa, that means that you do the exabla and then you turn around and there's specific steps. Oh, thank you very much, Elaine. You're definitely a star. Glad you went through with the staring contest with the neighbour's cats. That made me laugh out loud. Oh, thank you very much. And like some real-time games, I would argue that Space Alert isn't, this might sound harsh, but Space Alert isn't really a strategic game to my mind. It's more of a puzzle with enough complexity that it feels like a strategic time given the time pressure, if that makes sense. Like if what's normally a 5-minute soundtrack, if we just got given all that information and then we had half an hour to figure it out, it would be trivial. So I would say there is, what is a puzzle? I mean, at what point is it just recognition and at what point is it a puzzle? Because for sure, I don't think there's many people who would say, is there a matching word on this thing, a puzzle? But at the same time, people do get confused. I got confused when I was demonstrating this game to Lena from Board Games for Life. There was a yellow thing and the word yellow on the table, and then I still split the deck and I was like, oh my gosh, there was actually already a yellow thing that I didn't even notice. And that's the thing, like sometimes it's not immediate because your brain has to process it and you don't think of this as a puzzle, but it 100% is. It's a super simple puzzle, which would be, again, trivial for any adults if they were given 5 minutes, but it is still a puzzle. And it's a puzzle, like, and so I'm going to say, like, if we count, like, puzzles for me aren't a binary, this is a puzzle or this is not a puzzle. I apologize for the drilling next door. I've no idea what they're up to. That just started right now. But I don't see puzzles as a binary, like something that I need to work out and something that I need to stretch. Do I have an elephant in the house? No, it's definitely coming from through a wall that is maybe not as thick as I would like, because literally this is the only thing I've ever heard from them. So I mean, at least I don't hear music or TV or whatever, I guess. That's good. But yeah, like Jungle Speed, the act of, are there two things that match each other? That is 100% a puzzle. Like people play mobile phone games about the hidden object and just visually recognizing things, like word searches, even though it's just about observation and searching for stuff can themselves be puzzles. But there is only one solution, and this is a puzzle that's so trivial that I expect it to take an adult or indeed a child just a few seconds to solve. And so if there's something there, within a couple of seconds, someone will have slapped and be going red or blue or yellow or stars. And hello, Xate, it is lovely to see you, and I hope you're generally well. And so it is very trivial. And, I'm also going to mention Twin It, where, once there's like so much on the table, it's like, oh, did I see that? And again, it turns into a search for an image, like word search. Like I definitely have strategies of how I hunt for things. I mean, most basic Sudokus are kind of trivial and it's just going through the motions. But this is interesting, where it's about that performative aspect of, okay, you've got a clear answer, you should be able to work it out in a few seconds, just do the thing, you can do it. And there is something joyful in that. So yeah, basically someone who doesn't need a deep strategic game, someone who wants to race through a puzzle like 10, 20 times within the space of a couple of minutes of, do these things match, and enjoys leaping through one simple hoop of you need to match a word to a picture, but never words to words or pictures to pictures. That's like the one simple hoop. And frankly, from the name of the game, you might already know, do you enjoy speed matching games? Do you want a twist? If that's you, then yeah, I encourage you to get this game. If on the other hand, you want a game that's going to make you think, oh, is that the right move or is that the right move? I mean, I listened to a podcast this morning about speed games, and for me, the definition of a speed game is very simple. It's, is there a potential penalty for taking longer doing what you're doing in game? So in any game, obviously, like if you take half an hour to do, if I took half an hour to do my move in Connect 4, then the person across the table would justifiably probably get a bit annoyed and say, come on, Bez. Come on, Bez, what are you doing? Why are you taking so long? And I think there would be an out-of-game repercussion. But there's no in-game problem. But whether you say, okay, I'm playing on a chess clock now, that suddenly makes it a speed game. If you say, we are playing Exit and we have 1 hour to do the whole thing, I don't think that's necessarily the best speed game, but it is a speed game of some sort. If you look at sports like darts, no. Actually, because, okay, if you consider your move as one chunk, then I would say that the high jump is not a speed game, even though in theory you could make an argument, well, you need to do that and that in a sort of timing thing. But I would argue that ping pong, absolutely, because you need to whack the ball when it's at the correct spot. So there's a timing element of when exactly you whack the ball. I mean, maybe not a speed game, but definitely a real-time game, because also if you do it too early, there's an issue in that. So, but back to the point, why am I proud of it? I think I'm proud of it for 3 reasons. Firstly, like I put intuition, and I think that's really, when you see people playing it and they're matching it, you can right away understand what's going on. You don't even need someone to tell you the rules of the game or even the name of the game in order to start playing. It's just about, oh, okay, that's going on. And the acceleration, I'm proud of that because it feels like as you split more things across, sometimes when you slap 2 things and then you take them both off, occasionally the 2 things that were just revealed, because there's 2 things revealed at once because of your hands taking 2 things at once, both of those things might match individually a 3rd and 4th thing that's already on the board. On the table, I should say. I mean, board. Yeah, what? And that can then lead to, okay, someone takes that, and then suddenly there's another match, and there's like multiple strands going off at once. I kind of really want to play this game with like a giant stack of cards and see how it goes one day. But I think the other thing that I'm really proud of is that simple mechanism of just take the deck, split it in half. That's how you set up. And if there's no matches, just split the deck in half. And that gets you into the game straight away. It means that there's a lot of cards there ready to cascade through. And so, yeah, that's... Sorry again about that. And, yeah. I'm going to finish up. I think I've talked about everything I want to talk about. Going through my show notes. So, question of the day. Here's a little question before we go on our way. So my question of the day to you is, genuinely, what's the weather like where you are? Over here, it was kind of drizzly. I did go out, very grey sky. I'm considering like going out for like a dance somewhere close, but then I've also got to Kickstarter finishing. But yeah, I got sent an email that said I could go for free, like for the rest of November, which seems like something that I should take them up on. Elaine says it's cloudy. The sky is all one color. Here it is all, I'm going to say a very light grey, like it's almost white. Actually, yeah, it's the whitest thing I can see, but that's because it's dark. So, yes, kind of, I would say, let's go with sort of 25% grey, probably. Like if 100% is total black. Xate says, I just took down the worst avatar I've ever taken down, but it's so bad I'm tempted to send it round and make sure other people see it and have nightmares too. I am willing to be I am morbidly curious, let's put it that way. I volunteer. But yeah, that's the question of the day. Over to you. What are you up to? You can share button if you want to. I have Steve coming over, and I'm going to be hopefully doing a couple of playtests of a 15-minute LARP that I'm working on with Laura Wood, and yeah, see how it goes on so I can report back to Laura with some information and hopefully get it made in time for Dragon Meet is the dream. It's also the plan. I mean, I'm planning for it, but plans don't always work out, but that's what I'm aiming for. Also, I need to double check the second game that I'm making for a Gamer's Gaming Getaway and check that that is up to scratch. Just have a quick look and I'm sure it will be fine. For that one, Jack, who's doing graphic design for me, did a lot of lovely backgrounds, but that's not what I'm talking about today. I'll talk about that a totally different day. Maybe Saturday. For now, if anyone wants to share anything, Xate wants to share that I have been sent a potentially horrifying thing, and to recap and wrap up before we finish up. So, what did I say? Oh yeah, yesterday I took a lot of time off. I didn't do an awful lot. I did get out for a little bit, far less than I wanted, but I did spent some time doing some plucking with and listening to podcasts and listening to videos. And I say listening to videos because I was like, screen's over here and I'm just kind of, yeah, not really looking at it most of the time. Yeah, I also had some nice grilled bread. I enjoy grilled buns. I enjoy grilled buns. Then we talked about this game, which is a game about quickly matching words to words, but words to pictures, but never words to words or pictures to pictures. Sorry, I almost completely got the rules wrong there. But as you can see, you've got 3 colors, 4 objects, and you've got. I made it, hand prototyped it quickly between Nuremberg and Festival International de Jeux. Showed it to a couple of companies. They both liked it and took it away, but then, COVID, and they've not done anything with it. One of them I've shown it to at Spiel, and, their opinion, their focus has changed. The other company I've not gotten a chance to see yet because they are very French and they weren't at Spiel. I picked the objects for being short things, like yellow I'm not entirely happy with, but I wanted a light color, a mid-tone color, and I do wonder actually whether pink would be better. But then pink's also kind of close to red. Yeah, I mean, I mean, I would kind of like everything to be a similar length. And it's interesting how red and bed, they are super close, but like you can definitely tell, the difference between when you see bed, written here, and red. I mean, it is handwritten, but hopefully you can clearly tell that that's an R. I mean, it doesn't do as much as it could to separate itself, but when you see this one, yeah, that's clear an R, right? And still people sometimes get it wrong. And so then I talked about puzzles, how even though it's like what I would call a game about performance rather than decision making, it is still a small, quick puzzle to solve. I talked about how it changed and mutated with adding little wild cards with extra stuff to have on it, which was a new thing. Sometimes with a word and a picture, sometimes with multiple pictures that do things. And one card like that, which was just, throw it in for a bit of fun, see how people get on. And the issues with having double-sided cards, which at the start I thought, hey, this will be a fun way to kind of make the cards seem different. But no, having double-sided cards and having to ponder at the end of the game, is there a match or is there not? That wasn't fun. I think it sold fairly well. I think it was fairly popular. I've basically sold out of 2 printings of it, and hopefully people who get my latest Kickstarter will enjoy it a lot. And yeah, Xate wants to see my reaction. Okay, sure. Okay, I will do that as the last thing. I'm kind of dreading it now. Xate sends a photo. I wonder what it could be. Oh. I mean, oh, honestly, yeah, I can honestly, like, I'm kind of amused by that. I can, I mean, 100% it's inappropriate for any site that's not meant to be pornographic, but I am, yeah, like, just it's so messed up that yeah. I don't know if this makes me sick, but it's so messed up that it just amused me, was my initial reaction. And that's, yeah, okay. And I'm now concerned about, yeah, what everyone will think of. But that's my genuine reaction. So, yeah. Oh, wow. Is that a reaction to my reaction? Anyway, I want to say that, as always, check out Stuff by Bez in all of the places, and more importantly, please do check out, if you haven't already, I mean, assuming everyone here already knows all about it, but if you haven't already, please do check out my Kickstarter, which is a lot more wholesome than, yeah. Anyway. And yes, just double checking yep. Xate said that their reaction was, what the actual, what? Yeah, that was Xate's reaction. So anyway, if you want to check me out, check out that. And thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Xate, Yoda, Elaine, for being here. It's lovely to chat. And tonight, I'm going to do a closing ceremony, as I've done for my recent Kickstarters, just hang around for like half an hour while it closes. Just going to chat about stuff, and then I'll probably, if there's more than a couple of people watching, I'll raid like, I don't know if it might be a bit late for Losapalooza, but I'll raid whoever's on at that time. Yeah, Friday will be a very short stream as usual. I will be going to playtest. I might chat about, an idea that I'm hoping to make. It involves me doing a lot more actual construction and cutting things out of cardboard. It's a real-time, yeah, I'll say no more. You'll have to find out tomorrow. That's my teaser. That's how good I am at keeping secrets. Yeah, I can wait today, but no more. So for now, yeah, lots of love. And the only yeah. The only thing left to say, as always, is bye 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 bye. This is the goodbye song. Bye 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye 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 bye. And now it's time to go. There we go. It's a good heart. Bye bye. Lots of love and stay funky. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day.